Happy birthday! Take good care of this gift, okay?
Thanks, Dad. A man hands a gift to a young girl, who accepts it with a smile. A woman, seemingly the mother, watches them fondly. The sight of the family enjoying quality time together seems to bring a smile to the faces of those around them. Yet, I can't bring myself to smile, because the man who appears to be the father is someone I know all too well. Approaching the family, I say, "Looks like you're having a great time, but today is the end of it." The man turns around and freezes upon seeing my face. I'm Alexis, 32, a nurse leading a busy life. I met my husband Sean, 2 years younger than me, when he was hospitalized with pneumonia in my hospital. Sean, sociable and liked by everyone, including nurses and other patients, drew me in with his ability to light up a room. Despite my more reserved nature, we quickly hit it off, dating and smoothly transitioning into marriage. He's a regular office worker, but as a nurse with night shifts, our schedules often conflict. Yet we've managed to support each other through it. We've been married for 5 years, but don't have children yet. We do want them eventually, but he always says,
"Let's wait patiently, as children are a blessing."
Moreover, his company hasn't been doing well lately, increasing his overtime and overnight stays. His travel for work has increased, drastically reducing his time at home. Working nonstop, he had me worried about his health. It's terrible how his company overworks his staff in these tough times. I thought he should consider changing jobs, but he had no such intentions.
"I've been with the company for a long time. I want to help it recover. I can't just abandon them by switching jobs now. I know it's tough on you, but can you hang in there a little longer?"
In response, I said, "I'm fine, really. I'm just worried you might wear yourself out. You've been working non-stop lately. I'm afraid you'll collapse one of these days."
"Sorry for worrying you. I'll be fine, though. I make sure to take breaks. Once things settle down at work, let's go somewhere together."
He seemed committed to his company, so I decided not to push the job change. Little did I know that it was all a lie. He seemed to find fulfillment in his work, and I too took pride in being a nurse. It's fulfilling to see patients I've cared for leave the hospital in better health. Some patients, overwhelmed by illness and stress, become frail. While severe cases are handled by counselors, we nurses often offer advice and a listening ear to those with smaller concerns. For example, an elderly woman worried about not hearing from her son, or a man anxious about his unmarried daughter. And there are even cases like, "I got married but then quickly divorced. What should I do?" While I can't always offer advice, just listening seems to help their healing. It's true what they say about health being influenced by one's state of mind. Sometimes just talking about your problems helps. That's why I wish Sean would share his troubles and complaints with me. It might not solve everything, but it could at least provide some relief. While I was preoccupied with worries about him, trouble came my way. One day, Sean returned from work and announced he was going on a sudden business trip. That's so sudden, especially on our anniversary. We won't be able to celebrate.
"It's unfortunate, but I can't help it with work being so busy. I'll be gone for about 3 days, so please get my clothes ready."
I was annoyed about his indifferent attitude. It wasn't his fault that work fell on our anniversary, but his lack of apology or remorse bothered me. I had planned a special dinner and wine for us since I was off work. Disappointed, but not wanting to complain, I asked him, "Where is this business trip to?"
"California. There's a meeting with a client there."
"Be careful. Could you let me know where you'll be staying? Just in case I need to reach you." With that, he started acting nervously. a sure sign he was lying. Unaware that I knew his tell after 5 years of marriage, he continued.
I might stay with a friend in California. Hotels are expensive.
Oh yeah? Then give me your friend's contact info.
No, you don't know them. It would be awkward. Just call or text me if you need me.
True to his excuses, Sean didn't give me any contact details, deepening my suspicions. The next day, after he left for work, I couldn't shake my irritation. Feeling gloomy, I called a friend in the next town to vent. While chatting, I felt the urge to meet up. Since we're both off, want to hang out? I suggested. She agreed, so I headed to her town. We met up around lunchtime and decided to eat at a restaurant. That's where we saw something shocking. While looking at the menu, we heard happy voices from a nearby table. Turning, we saw a family of 3, apparently celebrating their daughter's birthday.
Happy 6th birthday, Zoe.
Thank you, Mommy and Daddy. The father, beaming, hands his daughter a gift, which she happily receives. The mother watches them with a loving gaze. It's undoubtedly a scene of a happy family. I suddenly notice the father's face and I'm shocked. It's Sean, who's supposed to be on a business trip. Why is he here instead of California? The resemblance is too striking to be a mere look-alike. He's even wearing the clothes I prepared for his trip. It's definitely Sean. Deciding to test the waters, I call his cell phone. The man steps outside to take the call, and sure enough, it's Sean who answers.
Hey, what's up? I'm at work right now. Don't call me suddenly like this.
It's indeed my husband. That jerk. I had so much to say, but I held back. Sorry, just checking if everything's okay over there in California. How is it?
Yeah. It's warm here.
Sean lying so easily. He said he was busy with work and quickly hung up, returning to his table. I was at my breaking point. Unforgivable. I approached the family's table and said, "Looks like you're having a good time. But today is the end of it." Sean turns pale as he sees me. Meanwhile, the girl's mother looks at me, puzzled. Who are you? What do you mean by the end? It seemed like the woman, his apparent affair partner, knew nothing about me. The girl looked equally puzzled. Sean said nothing, just hung his head in shame. I wanted to confront him right there. But considering the other customers and not wanting to spoil the innocent girl's birthday, I decided to let it go for now. Oh, sorry, my mistake. You have a lovely family. Happy birthday, young lady. I left the restaurant with my friend, who also knew Sean, and glared at him. We pretended to leave, but waited outside for them. After about 30 minutes, they came out, the woman and girl, happily talking about the present. Sean forced a smile, but it seemed strained. My friend and I discreetly followed them. They eventually entered a large, fancy house with a big yard. It appeared they lived there. What was his relationship with them, and how had they met? I wanted to confront him immediately, but restrained myself for the sake of the girl. We have other things to prepare, so we decided to head back. My friend was even angrier than me about the situation. I'm in shock by his betrayal, but hearing my friend call Sean the lowest of the low lifted my spirits a bit. She offered to be there for me when we have our talk. I was grateful for her offer, but didn't want to get her involved any further, so I declined. Even so, she said, I'm here to listen if you ever need to talk, and squeezed my hand tightly. It seems I was unlucky with my husband, but lucky with my friend. I tried calling Sean and sending him messages several times, but he ignored them all. Ignoring me won't change the fact that I saw him. He might try to claim that it was a case of mistaken identity, but I won't let him get away with that. The next day, I staked out Sean's mansion again. After confirming that the girl had left for kindergarten, I knew it was the right time. I rang the mansion's doorbell, and the woman from the restaurant appeared. She recognized me and asked in surprise, "Are you the lady from yesterday?" I didn't waste any time and said, "I apologize for bothering you yesterday. Actually, I recognized the man you were with and had to speak to him. Could you call him out for me?" The woman looked troubled, but eventually she called Sean. When he came out, he turned pale upon seeing me. His eyes darted around, showing his nervousness. Without hesitation, I confronted him directly. "Sean, what the hell is going on? Explain yourself." Then, unbelievably, he pretended not to know me.
I'm sorry, but who are you? Don't call me by my name so casually.
What? What nonsense are you spouting? Cut the crap.
Excuse me? I don't know any woman like you. If you keep this up, I'll call the police. Please, leave now.
He continued to feign ignorance, an unsightly act. I was boiling with anger. Just then, someone shouted from behind me.
You shameless, foolish son. What are you doing? That's right. How could you, with Alexis here?
Sean's face stiffened as he saw who was speaking.
Mom? Dad? Why are you here?
Indeed, it was Sean's parents who were berating him. Behind my in-laws, my own parents were glaring at him. I had called them, thinking it's better to have more support in confronting him. What followed was chaotic. My father-in-law hit Sean, and my mother-in-law beat him with her bag as he fell. My parents kept cursing him, and the woman looked flustered by the scene. I just watched silently, making no move to help him. Finally, to avoid causing a disturbance in the neighborhood, the woman shouted, "This is causing too much trouble," and led us into the house. Once we calmed down, I asked about her and Sean's relationship. Her name was Amy, and the girl was her daughter, Zoe. Sean had been dating her with the intention of marrying her. Amy was divorced, and Zoe was her daughter from her previous marriage. It turned out that Sean had lied about being single and had been taking money from Amy, a wealthy woman.
The company went bankrupt, and I lost my job. I need some money while I look for work.
She had agreed to lend him money, believing they were going to get married. She not only gave him money, but also let him stay at her house. I then explained the situation to her. My name is Alexis. To be direct, Sean here is my husband. We have been married for 5 years. I showed her photos from our wedding as proof. She listened to my story in shock. She glared at Sean and shouted, "What the hell?" Sean looked down, saying nothing. Then his father yelled,
Don't just sit there looking pitiful. Speak up.
Sean finally began to shake and started explaining. He had actually been fired from his job. The reason was embezzlement at his company. He had been purchasing personal items with company funds and falsifying receipts to pocket expenses like travel and business trip costs. He managed to avoid police involvement by repaying the full amount embezzled, but this left his savings from before our marriage completely drained. Desperate for money, Sean targeted Amy, a wealthy client he had heard about, and charmed his way into her life. All the times he had claimed to be staying at work or going on business trips, he had actually been staying at her house. I was completely appalled. Not only had he cheated, but he had also been fired for committing a crime. His actions towards Amy were nothing short of marriage fraud. Hearing his confession, Amy was also furious.
How could you do this to me? You approached me just for my money. I thought you cared about Zoe and were a good person.
Amy, please calm down.
How can I calm down? I thought you were single, but you're married. To trick me and take my money? That's fraud. I'm going to sue you.
She had every right to be angry. She was a total victim in this. I also joined in, confronting Sean. I agree with her. You are truly the worst. I'm going to divorce you and sue you for infidelity. Be prepared for that. Hearing this, he began to panic and begged me.
Please, forgive me. It was just a moment of weakness. I never thought it would turn into such a big deal. I'll change my ways and work hard from now on. Please, forgive me.
I was appalled by his brazen plea. Could he really believe that after all he's done, his request would be granted? I unleashed my anger at him. Are you stupid or what? After all trouble you've caused, you expect forgiveness just because it was a moment of weakness? That's just too convenient. Ever heard the phrase, sorry doesn't cut it if it's a crime?
I'm really sorry, I am.
Enough. All you do is lie. I don't trust you anymore. I will definitely divorce you. Upon hearing this, Sean collapsed and started crying. But everyone just looked at him with cold eyes. A few weeks later, I got divorced. I kicked him out of the house and demanded alimony. He was taken into custody by the police and found guilty of fraud. Amy also sued him for alimony. After being released, Sean ended up living in a rundown trailer, working all hours to pay off the alimony in installments. Disowned by his parents, he had nowhere to return to. I hope he truly reflects on his wrongdoings. As for me, I returned to my carefree single life. I thought I'd had enough of marriage for a while, but something interesting happened a year after the divorce. An elderly woman, a former patient I had counseled, said to me, "I would really like you to marry my son." I'm still thinking about it, but it seems like life is going to be interesting.